You know, this is becoming a little bit of a weird trend. First, it started with my Super Tax Bros video for Unicorn Overlord, where I figured out the best way in Unicorn Overlord to make oodles and doodles of money over the course of the game. And now we come to Dark Deity 2, and I've accidentally done the same thing. I apparently am very good at finding ways to make disgusting amounts of monies in strategy RPGs, and that's really weird considering I hate dealing with money in real life based on how much anxiety I deal with every year when I have to do my taxes. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and welcome back to the channel. Hello everyone, if you enjoy what I do, including covering builds for some of our favorite turn-based strategy or regular strategy RPGs, including things like Dark Deity 2, then a like on this video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, it is nominally Friday, the weekend, whenever it is that this video actually winds up coming out, so thank you to all of my channel supporters as well. You will see all of their names scrolling by at the end of the video. So what is the topic today? The topic is Zanille and her little monkey friend, the Capuchin, Cappy, who I'm pretty sure is actually piloting Zanille like a little ratatouille by pulling on her hair and directing where her bow is going to go, before jumping off and mauling her opponents before raiding their pockets. That's right! This is a Command Capuchin build to talk about how you can, in fact, make infinite money with time in Dark Deity 2. So what is the idea here? The idea is that there is one particular class tree setup that you can do with Zanille to absolutely maximize her personal active skill, Command Capuchin, to make insane amounts of dash. Now, how this works is going to be the topic of the video, with some examples shown in terms of weapons and rings and different other upgrades that you can give, but I don't expect that this is a fully optimized build yet either. I'm still experimenting with it, figuring out different optimized ways to level through different classes to get the best stats for the end game build, maybe different rings or weapons that work better, what ability upgrades you want to prioritize, etc., etc. So if you'd wind up trying this build, maybe in the future you find this video and you have an optimized version of it, drop that info in the comments and I'd be happy to pin it, share it with everyone else to see, and kind of really figure out how we can make the most of this very fun little elven build. So what is the idea here? The idea is that Zanelle's active skill, Command Capuchin, deals a very hefty amount of damage at base and steals some gold for you if you get the kill with the monkey, which is pretty great. As you can imagine, making more money in any sort of game where you have a shop and upgrades to buy, weapons to forge, etc. is always very strong. And what makes this even more noteworthy is the fact that this is the only ability in the game that does this. So my thought process was, when I was first going through my first DD run of DD2, how can I maximize this? How much bang for my buck can I really get here? How much money can I launder through Capuchin Enterprises? And the answer is quite a bit. So let's look at the build. The thing about Zanille is that she not only has the Command Capuchin active skill, she also has the passive skill, Animal Friend, which increases her command pet damage by 25%. And being that she's in what is nominally being called the Beastmaster tree by the overall community, all of her abilities are going to be command pet abilities. So this is a very, very nice ability to have. Flat plus 25% damage is literally always going to be good. Now, what gets very interesting is when you go into the actual Beastmaster class. To do this, you go into Tamer first, giving you the Call the Pride and Command Lion active abilities, as well as the Symbiosis passive skill, which will then be carried on when you go into Beastmaster to get Hellhound Breath, Command Cerberus, and Beast Whisperer. Those abilities for Tamer are as follows. Call the Pride applies 50 light block stacks, spread equally to all allies within 2 tiles, maximum of 25 each, and Command Lion deals just a big chunk of extra damage, which is definitely very, very nice. Now, the key part here is Symbiosis. Pet commands gain an additional 25% mastery scaling, and when you consider that Zanille in the Tamer class gets 80% mastery growth, you can imagine that things are going to get pretty spicy here. That's before we even move on to Beastmaster. In Beastmaster, we get Hellhound Breath, 3 severe snare stacks in a cone, up to 8 enemies in the area, and Command Cerberus, attack with your pet, dealing 75 additional damage and applying 20 heavy block to the caster. So a little bit of offensive, defensive ability there. Now, again, the key part here is the passive skill, Beast Whisperer. Command pet costs half mana, and our mastery scaling goes up to 85% growth, which is even better. So By taking Zanil through Tamer and Beastmaster, you will have 3 very important passive abilities. Animal Friend for that damage boost, Symbiosis for extra mastery scaling, which is both extra damage and also extra scaling on things like the gold that you gain with Command Capuchin, and then having the cost of all of these abilities before you apply any other bonuses to it. Or technically after, realistically, depending on how the scaling works. But either way, it is an even better mana reduction. Now, as you can see, I have a level 38 Zanil here, which is in my endgame file, which isn't even as high level as my other character. She's about 6 levels behind my frontrunners. And yet, even so, she has a massive amount of HP and a massive amount of mastery, which more than anything else is exactly what she needs. The idea here is that we're not really caring about Zanil's actual damage. All of the damage that she's going to be dealing is coming from her pets. And that is ideal because the way the Tamer abilities work in this game is if you actually kill the enemy with your basic attacks before the pet comes out, even if you used your ability that uses the pet, you don't actually use the ability, you don't lose the mana. Now, ideally, that would be really good, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I didn't even need to use my mana to kill this guy. I don't lose it if I wind up like getting a crit and killing something before I actually activate the ability, right? Like, that's ideal. That's perfect. The issue with that is Command Capuchin needs you to have the monkey in combat to trigger the ability to then get your gold. And that is what we're trying to do here. So having overall low might is going to be very good for Zanil, as it'll mean that the monkey comes out more often. Now, we'll talk about all the stats that we have going on here in a second, but I want to finish outlining what we have going on in the build first. We have the Conquest Bow, which is just an all-around good late-game bow. There's probably better weapon options here, honestly. It just kind of fit for what I had on Zanil, and it's worked for the build thus far, so I may as well show it. 11 power, 35 crit, 85 accuracy, and 2 weight. With 2 modifiers on it, crits deal plus 10 damage, and we have plus 15 crit on it. With the might that Zanil has, even if she crits, she's probably not killing anything, but I have found that there's times where getting that crit will secure the kill with Command Capuchin, which is huge. We then have 2 rings. The Companion Ring, pet commands use 10 less mana, which again also goes with Beast Whisperer and then any other abilities that we have on our upgrades. And Lava Ring, abilities gain plus 20% effect, which is going to, again, increase our money earned and our damage dealt. So that's the overall build. Let's talk about why all these things together make it so potent, right? So, all these other abilities that we have, Call the Pride, Command Lion, Hellhound Breath, Command Cerberus, rarely going to be used. Call the Pride, probably the most useful because there's going to be times where you just can't attack with Zanil, and giving a bunch of block to your allies is really nice. But we're here for one thing, and it's to summon Cappy to rifle through our foes' pockets. With all of the upgrades that we have, including the upgrades for increased gold earned and reduced mana cost for Command Capuchin, we are looking at a 32 mana ability. Not even a full third of our mana bar. In 1/2 range, that at this level of power is 106 additional flat damage and 290 gold earned. Do you understand how ridiculously strong that is? Like, let's look at Command Lion. The whole thing that Command Lion does is it just deals damage. And yeah, granted, I have some extra, like, oh, we get some healing here, and the damage mastery scaling is higher here. It's got slightly less mana cost than Command Capuchin. But the actual damage is dealing is only 5 higher. And we're not earning almost 300 gold every time we kill something with this. This is what makes Command Capuchin with Zanil so ridiculously strong. You will rarely use these abilities because you'll just be nuking things with Command Capuchin. And it's not like it's just a utility piece. 106 damage that is not reduced by enemy defenses or anything else and is guaranteed to hit if you use the ability is so strong. For example, if you look at my Arthur, his Lunar Reeve starts out dealing 58 damage. We're dealing almost twice the amount of damage at baseline for less mana with Command Capuchin than Arthur's Lunar Reeve. And yeah, this stacks over time, but it's got to stack a lot to get to the point that we're at right now with Command Capuchin, which is also with Zanil being 5 levels under Arthur. This is what we're looking at here. Now, of course, you might be saying to yourself, well, all right, like, yeah, I can see if you just, like, keep killing stuff and you get 290, 300 gold a kill, like, yeah, that's technically infinite money, but how does that actually help me, right? Well, that is where the second half of this comes in. Once you have your build online, and not even necessarily get to this point, this is end game stats and upgrades and rings and all that, I get that, but just once you have Zanil in the Tamer class and have some marginal upgrades on Command Capuchin that complement it, you can start going into training. Training costs 1,000 gold to do. Period. That's it. Training missions have a turn limit, quote unquote, of 99 turns, as we can see right here. You essentially have infinite time. Training missions are also not particularly difficult. So I'm going to show you some examples here with some gameplay going on as I talk. The idea is that you go into a training mission as soon as you unlock them, and around the time that you unlock them is also around the time that you'll have Zanil available to go into Tamer, so you can start doing this right off the bat. And all you do is you just stall. You use characters like Scholars to give Zanil some extra mana, and you just have her pop snipes on whatever you feel like. And keep having Cappy grave rob your enemies as they hit the ground to put gold right back into your pockets. At baseline, it'll take you about 10 kills with Zanil to make your money back in training. But that's before mastery scaling. That's before any upgrades to your ability. Things snowball really quickly. For me, at this point, I need 4 kills. And I've already made the gold as the cost of entry for this training mission back, plus extra. Anything after that, gravy. Free money, essentially. And you're also getting experience on Zanil. You're actually making her stronger. You're in training, so you can make your other characters stronger. You can infinitely level grind using Zanil as well. And yes, there's going to be people who are probably typing right now, it's not actually pronounced Zanil, it's pronounced Chanel. Different characters pronounce it differently during the campaign, all right? I heard it as Zanil first from the first character that said her name that I remember, so I say Zanil. Other characters say Zanel. Come at me. That's the voice direction. Don't at me about it, all right? Like, it is what it is. If you want to be able to make your characters infinitely powerful and have an infinite amount of money, you must use this build. And you're not going to lose out on anything in the process. Beastmaster Zanel, or Zanil, or Zanile, or whatever you want to say. It's a 1/2 range character with beefy HP whose pet commands will absolutely slaughter anything that you throw her at. Even on Demonic. Yeah, she's going to be more frail. It might be a little bit harder for her to kill stuff. You're not going to want her on the front line in the same way that you would on Heroic or Deity. But that pet damage is still just direct damage. It's still just flat. So even on Demonic, where enemies are really tanky, you're still going to be dealing great damage. It might even be better on Demonic because it's harder to get your secondaries. It's harder to get money from rewards. You'll be relying more on getting that money from Command Capuchin to be able to buy stuff in the shop. And that brings us around to our third point. Tom, why do you even need infinite gold in this game? It's not particularly hard. It's not like there's a huge economic background that you're going to be like manipulating using monkey taxes, right? Maybe not. But the shop does have a lot of good stuff. Stat elixirs. Basic, but still useful weaponry. Especially if you are particularly favored towards a type of class that all uses the same types of weaponry. So you might need some extra stuff going on. Gems. To be able to craft new rings. Runes. To make sure that all of your weapons are upgraded. There's still valuable stuff to spend your money on. To say nothing of all of the XP. Right? So having that extra source of income is going to make your life so much easier. Like, I so desperately want to see a comparison where people don't use Zanel at all or don't use her in Tamer to get all the bonuses, and compare that to my run and see how much more gold I have than them over the course of the run. I bet it's pretty significant. So if I'm making an extra 1,000, 1,500 gold per map, that's going to stack up over the course of the game, man. So I love this build. I love that it's such a good direct damage ability. It's versatile. It does have other abilities like Call the Pride to give block to your team, which is very nice in and of itself. But just the raw damage and money potential cannot be overstated. It is the exact same concept as the Super Tax Bros, and I'm so excited that there's something like that in Dark Deity 2 because I love builds like this. So give it a shot. If you do, let me know how it goes for you. And again, if you have any particular modifications you would make to this build, drop that in the comments as well so I can do it on future runs, and people who watch this video can even further optimize their money-making monkey shenanigans. That said, though, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. My name, of course, has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. Thank you once again to all of my fine supporters through Patreon and my YouTube memberships, whose names you can see scrolling by on the right-hand side of the screen right now. It means the world. It makes everything so much infinitely easier. I legitimately don't know if I would have still been able to keep doing YouTube without that support. So thank you all so very much. And until the next time, I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other, y'all. Bye now.